Ciao, friends! You again.
See? Ciao!
I feel like we have our own channel now because you're always here.
I know. What do you guys think about our own talk show?
Thumbs up if you want to see our own talk show. Zoey, if you don't know, she's a digital nomad and she wants to full-time live in Rome. I full-time live in Rome. And so, she's here now, and we wanted to talk about reverse culture shocks. She's from Canada, I'm from the States. So whenever we go back home, which isn't that often, but whenever we do go back home, we have found that there's been some little shocks that it gets a little, it's hard to adjust
It's uncomfortable.
to. Because there are some culture shocks living in Italy, but I think also you get used to them, and then going back,
it's like a whole new world back there.
Insert a
foreign
line.
world.
A whole new world. I have a list of a couple things that we both find a little hard to adjust to when we go back to North America. And I think one of the first ones would be grocery stores.
Yeah.
Like the massive aisles, because I did talk about this in my video on things that I probably will never get used to in Italy, being the grocery stores being so small. But then when you go back to North America, you are wandering aimlessly down aisles like for an hour maybe.
And unless you have a list,
Forget
you
it.
could wander for days.
What cereal do I want?
Yeah.
It's true. So
hundreds to choose from.
Which, I mean, it's a first world problem, come on.
Yeah.
It's different. And I remember when I went back to the States this summer, I needed to get like a bag of tortilla chips, and there was maybe 20 different brands and kinds and flavors, and I'm like, I just want tortilla chips. So, and then another one that, for me, is it pretty big for you, tipping?
Tipping. Really, it's so nice. Like, I described it like Uber.
Yes.
So when you're in a restaurant in Europe, mostly Italy, you get the bill and that's the total. And that is just the total of your bill. There's no need to think about math at the end of your meal. Like maybe you had a spritzer for. Your brain's like, I don't want to do math right now.
Exactly.
And you don't have to like think about the percentage on top of that. But then you go back to North America and you're prompted with, a bill that you're expected to tip on 10, 12, 15, 18, 20, 25. I mean, who knows? Every time I go back home, I feel like the number is increased.
I know. And I get it. I get why we tip, because the servers there in restaurants aren't paid, their hourly wage is not a lot at all. But even with other services, like here, I guess when you're doing a tour, I mean, you can tip like €1 or €2.
Yeah.
One thing that because I just got my hair cut in an Italian salon, and mind blown, you don't need to tip your hairdresser. Which in Canada, do you?
Yes.
Which can add, especially if you go to a nice salon, can add so much to your bill.
Oh, yeah.
And here it's like, whew, because I'm always like, do I need a tip? Do I need a tip? And
is this enough?
And the Italians are like, no. So unless you can tip at a restaurant if you had an amazing service, but it's like you leave some change on the table.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. And so that's been kind of hard when you go back to the States. I forget.
Yes.
I want to leave the table and I'm like, oh wait, oh no, we have to tip, and then you do the math.
Yeah. And then the whole restaurant experience in Italy is so much different because people are happy to have you there and always seemingly like don't mind if you hang out with your friends. You're gonna enjoy a nice dinner, maybe you're there for an hour, maybe you're there for 3 or 4, but you're never prompted to leave. Like, it's very rare if they had, say, a reservation that was like 2 or 3 hours after you, then maybe you might get prompted to.
Yeah,
you
but
mentioned that happened to you before.
Yes. So I went to a nice, very busy, popular restaurant, and I think we were there for like 3.5 hours. We went like American time, like 7 p.m. And then they had a reservation at 10 p.m. And so they were very nice about it. And they were like, listen, we do have a reservation. You can finish your drinks, take your wine glass outside, or go to the terrace and finish it up, but you can free the table. Whereas in North America, they will just not say a word and put the bill on your table.
Or I'm just gonna leave this here. Do you guys mind settling up?
And they'll just like,
by the way,
push it.
how's your day been today?
Thanks. And then they, you pay with your credit card and they're like, thanks, Mr. or thanks, Mrs. Ariel, or thanks, Mrs. Polson. I'm like, thanks.
Yeah.
But North Americans are used to that, and for them it's not like a big deal.
Yeah.
Because usually it's like we're gonna go eat and then go. Whereas here it's like it's an event and it's an entire evening or an entire afternoon.
My heart is so much here. It's just a nicer, like, calm way of life. You enjoy the time you spend with others.
It is. It is. And I know also in North America, when you, for example, you're there for a long time, maybe you're there until closing, the servers just want to go home. And they're like, oh God, like again. Or they're like, all right, my shift's over. Like, can you either close out or this person's not going to take care of you. Here, I've never felt that way.
No.
So
We're happy to have you.
Drugstores.
So the farmacia.
Yeah, the farmacia here in Italy.
They have medicine for the most part.
Like some skincare, maybe like cream,
Yeah.
Band-Aids. But it's very minimal. It's like one box of Band-Aids. Whereas like Walmart, Shoppers Drug Mart, CVS, you walk in and like aisles, which can be a little bit reverse culture shock because then you, like the grocery store, you wander aimlessly and then you end up spending way more because you buy way much more than you even intended. And also prescriptions. A lot of medicines here, you don't really need a prescription.
Yeah.
And so that's also been hard to adjust to when I have to get a prescription back in the States and you don't need to here. And the food, for example, like in Canada, I'm not sure if it's big, like GMOs.
Well, there'll be
bigger.
food now that'll be labeled like non-GMO.
Yeah, well, in North America, you have to look a lot on labels, whereas here, so much of things come from farms that are nearby.
Yeah,
it's so simple, and you know that it's coming from a good place and that it's fresh. And unfortunately, Italy is starting to get like some, hormonal meats or factory farming slowly but surely, which is really unfortunate. But when it comes to produce, sustained organically, and so you don't really have to worry about labels that much.
Yeah. And well, an example is milk too. Like milk here goes bad in a few days, like dairy milk, but like in Canada and the States, like it's good for a few weeks.
I don't know. I haven't purchased milk.
Yeah, I just know from when I was living with the family last year, and they'd have to get milk like every 2 or 3 days because it would go bad.
The coffees. She's got a lot to say about this one.
I love the coffees here. I love the small coffees, and having an espresso here is so much stronger than going back home. And I was fine. I'd drink a coffee. I'd even drink espresso from Starbucks, but I wasn't the same.
It's not the same.
It's not as powerful.
And the taste, either it's like too bitter in the States, or when you order, a cafe latte, it's like really big. And here, when you ask for like an American coffee, they give you like maybe like this much.
Yeah,
it's like nothing. So coffee is hard to find good coffee back home.
Yeah, it's a culture shock. It's a reverse culture shock.
It is. I mean,
because once you have those espressos, once you taste the Italian goodness for a little while, you're hooked.
You're hooked. We're spoiled here. And mass marketing everywhere.
Yeah.
So in North America, like billboards everywhere on the freeways,
in the subways, the metros. It's just like bam, 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 bam.
And here, there's some in the subway. There's some at the Vatican, unfortunately. There's one near the Vatican. But not like in North America. You're driving on the highway here to Tuscany. I don't see one billboard. No. I feel like you're being like bombarded with all of this mass marketing. And so here, I just don't feel that way.
Yeah.
But when I go back to North America, it's like do.
It's draining. It really is.
Yeah, it's draining. And speaking of draining, like skyscrapers and buildings in North America. Granted, Milan, for example, does have skyscrapers. It's an industrialized city. But in Rome, there's regulations. You can't build over a certain amount of like levels. Yeah. And it's nice and charming.
Yes. It's so dreamy just walking through those charming little streets, and like the 15th century old building, like everything is just...
And the ancient ruins are still here. I mean, I love how they preserve and they really value their culture and history. I know North America is so young, but I mean, there's just a lot of the cities are just so concentrated with buildings, 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 buildings. It's just a different life. So these were just a few reverse culture shocks that we've noticed the last couple of times we've been back home in North America. And if you are an expat or you live abroad and you have found any similar reverse culture shocks, or you can add any of the reverse culture shocks that you've experienced down below, definitely let us know. We always love to hear from you. And thanks so much to Zoey again for being here on my channel.
Thanks for having me, So.
I know all of you guys love having her here. It's so much fun to film with you. So I'm sure that you will definitely be seeing some more collaborations with her.
Yeah.
So
maybe
thanks.
our future talk show.
Yeah. And until next time,
Ciao.
ciao.